Does the word metabolism make you think about fat loss? What if I told you your metabolism controlled so much more than just your ability to lose weight? Today, I'm sharing 4 top tips to help you boost your metabolism that are simple to incorporate and will not only have you shedding a few pounds, but will also optimize your overall health. Welcome to My True Health podcast. I'm Michele Scarlet, a board certified functional medicine practitioner, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, certified personal trainer, and women's health coach. I'm here to help women achieve true health by deep diving into the symptoms that often go ignored or dismissed. Join me and other experts in the women's health space as we uncover the truth around all things women's health. Hello, friends. Before we dive into today's episode, this is your friendly reminder to rate and review my podcast so more women like you get access to it. We know how important it is to empower and educate women to be advocates for their own health because the information we share on this podcast is not the information we're taught by our doctors.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first ever solo podcast. So please go easy on me. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the top 4 ways to boost your metabolism. But before we jump in, I want to clarify the word metabolism. People think it is measured by how easily you lose fat. Well, that's only one piece of the complex puzzle that is your metabolism. Metabolism is defined as the chemical reactions in your cells that turn food into energy. But not only the energy you need to have a great workout, the vital energy your lungs need to breathe, the vital energy your brain needs to think, even the vital energy your liver needs to produce hormones. Your metabolism is essentially the reason you are a walking, talking, breathing human. There is so much more to your metabolism than fat loss. It is truly the powerhouse to all of your vital functions. So, what is actually happening when someone believes that their metabolism is slowing down? Most people chalk it up to age, but that's false. In fact, your metabolism is actually very steady from ages 20 to 60, and even after 60, only declines very slightly, according to studies done by Herman Potzer, the professor of evolutionary anthropology at Duke University and the author of the book Burn. A slow metabolism is actually due to overall lifestyle, like food and drink choices, sedentary habits, the consumption of toxins, and stress load. Which brings me to my top 4 tips for increasing your metabolism, which we now understand is to increase your body's ability to function optimally, which in turn will lead to easy, effortless fat loss, I suppose. So, tip number 1, eat more animal protein. Animal protein fuels so many essential functions in the body. Firstly, it provides amino acids, the building blocks of protein, which are crucial for muscle synthesis and repair. These muscles rely on amino acids to maintain their structure and function, which support your movement and physical activity. It also fuels the production of enzymes and hormones involved in many metabolic processes such as digestion, energy production, nutrient absorption, and it is vital for brain function and overall mental health. It also supplies the body with key micronutrients like iron, zinc, B vitamins, which play key roles in energy metabolism, oxygen transport, and even cellular repair. Overall, animal protein provides the necessary compounds for building and maintaining tissues, supporting all of your metabolic processes and ensuring overall health and vitality. So, if you're struggling to get in enough animal protein in the day, start with this: front load your day, which means if you start with 30 grams of protein at breakfast, you won't be scrambling to get it all in or feel overwhelmed by dinner. My favorite tip is to remember you don't have to eat a typical breakfast food for breakfast. I often eat leftover hamburger patties with fried egg and some fruit for breakfast. You don't have to be afraid to include high quality animal protein into your diet, but always remember to prioritize organic, pasture raised, and sustainably sourced options whenever possible. Tip number 2 for boosting your metabolism: strength train consistently. It may not come as a shock to you that exercise builds muscle and that the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn while at rest. But that's not all strength training does. It has a much bigger effect on your metabolic processes than just burning calories. Let's start with thyroid function. Strength training can boost your thyroid function. The thyroid gland produces hormones T3 and T4 that regulate metabolism, energy production, and protein synthesis. Regular strength training stimulates thyroid activity, leading to increased production and secretion of these hormones, which in turn boost your metabolic rate. Next, strength training can influence your sex hormones, particularly testosterone and estrogen. With an increase in testosterone, we see better bone density and muscle mass, cognitive function, mood, sexual function and desire, and energy. It can also help regulate estrogen levels, which are necessary for healthy menstrual cycles, fertility, common issues like PCOS and endometriosis, which are often tied to estrogen dominance, and even healthy breast tissue to help prevent breast cancer. It can help regulate your cortisol levels, and it can positively impact your serotonin levels, a neurotransmitter involved in mood regulation and feelings of well being. It stimulates the release of serotonin, which can alleviate symptoms of depression, anxiety. It improves your mood and overall mental health. So, guys, strength training is the king of metabolism boosting, but not only for the muscle building effects. Tip number 3: manage your stress levels, aka get out of survival mode. So, what happens to your metabolic processes when you're in fight or flight, aka survival mode? You can think of your body's metabolism like an iPhone. When your body is under stress, it goes on low power mode. It technically still functions, but the screen is dim, it shuts down when you're not using it, and it's way slower. Ultimately, it doesn't function optimally. So you may be getting out of bed, but you're exhausted. You exercise, but you can't lose the weight. Or maybe when you're under stress, you struggle with digestive issues. This might be TMI, but if you've ever had loose poops because you're under stress, maybe a big presentation at work or a conversation with your boss that you just don't want to have makes you poop urgently, that is survival mode. These are just examples of the body's way of slowing down those non-vital functions like fat loss or digestion. And when it is in survival mode and in those moments of acute stress, what it does is it stores its energy to be used for the things like breathing or pumping your blood. People typically think about stress as external, your job, your finances, your relationships, but there are so many more stressors that are internal, and they have the same chaotic effect on the body and keep you in fight or flight mode for much longer, which is the part that is detrimental to your metabolism. Things like undereating, chronic dieting, physical stress like chronic pain, emotional stress, or unresolved emotional trauma from a harder time in your life, these can all put your body into the dreaded fight, flight, or freeze mode. And most women I work with have been stuck in the survival mode for years. I was no exception at one point in my life. Actively managing your stress is the key to get you out of survival mode and allow your metabolism to quote unquote come back online. Some ways you can help get out of fight or flight mode and back into rest and digest are things like EFT tapping, somatic exercises, breath work, and cold plunging. These are just some examples of many. You can head over to YouTube and just search any one of these, and there will be hundreds of videos you can follow with just 5 minutes a day to help yourself come back into rest and digest. Tip number 4: love your liver, the powerhouse to your metabolism. Your liver is responsible for taking the food you eat and turning it into useful energy for every cell in your body. It helps with hormone production and balance, proper digestion, it eliminates toxic waste. We want our livers to be working optimally because if it is, every other system will fall into place. So, how do you support your liver? Firstly, you want to start by minimizing the toxins you ingest. When the liver is overloaded with toxins from sources like alcohol, processed foods, pesticides, environmental pollutants, and pharmaceutical medications, its detoxification capacity can become overwhelmed and congested. This can lead to the accumulation of toxins in the body, impairing liver function and disrupting your metabolic processes. Secondly, you want to ensure a healthy liver by supporting detoxification through balanced diet rich in nutrients, antioxidants, sufficient protein, and enough calories, regular exercise, adequate hydration, and potentially the use of a natural supplement like TUDCA or milk thistle. So, these are my 4 top tips for boosting your metabolism. 1, do not be afraid of animal protein. Aim for about 1 gram of protein per lean pound of body weight. Tip 2, strength training is king. Tip 3, get out of fight flight and into rest digest mode. And tip 4, love your liver. It is the powerhouse to your metabolism. If you're looking to implement these tips into your everyday life, check out my app, CoreFit. My premium membership offers you 6 months of detox support, balancing your cortisol, as well as home workouts and nutrition guidance, all geared towards sustainable fat loss and vitality. Plus, you get access to the CoreFit program for life after you're done, because as your life is always in flux, so is your health.
If you're looking for more information on how you can work with me, you can head to my website at www.michellescarlet.com or find me over on Instagram at @MichelleScarlet_. And this information will also be provided in the show notes.